Welcome to video number 3 for Unit 2. Remember, Unit 2 is expressions and equations. This video, video number 3, is called one-step equations. Remember when we were talking about integers, we did something called fact families. And some of our fact families had a variable in them, like an n. So remember that if you see something like this, negative 5 plus n is equal to negative 3, we did some rearranging, and we know that's the same sentence by fact families as negative 3 take away negative 5 equal to n. So we're going to focus on one-step equations where we solve for n, but I want you to keep these fact families in mind. Because of what we see here, we know that negative 3 minus a negative 5 is equal to 2. So n is equal to 2, or 2 is equal to n. And we're going to see it both ways. Doesn't matter if n is on the left side or the right side. The goal of solving equations is to get one n all by itself. Okay, inverse operations. Remember, the opposite of addition is subtraction, opposite of subtraction is addition. So again, here's the same example that we have, but now we're going to solve it using inverse operations. So the opposite of a negative 5 or a minus 5 is a plus 5. One thing about equations that's really important to remember is that if I do it to one side of the equal sign, I have to do it to the other side. Sometimes it helps to put a line down here for your equals to make sure that you do it to both sides of the equals or both sides of the line. So take a look at what happens. Negative 5 plus 5 additive inverse is 0. They're gone. N is left on this side equal to negative 3 plus 5 is equal to positive 2. Okay. On the other side, that x minus 11 is equal to negative 5. So the opposite of plus 11 minus 11. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. And x is equal to negative 16. Remember, these two are gone. Additive inverse. Okay, other one-step equations could involve multiplication and division. So the opposite of multiplication is division. Opposite of division is multiplication. So for example, 3 here, guys, remember the invisible symbol in between here is a multiplication. Negative 5 times x. So a common mistake that I see students do is try and add 5 to both sides. But that's not going to get x by itself. This multiplication symbol is gluing those two together. So the only way to get rid of the negative 5 is to divide by negative 5 on both sides. Okay, those are gone. X is equal to negative 30 divided by negative 5 is a positive 6. Okay, on the other side, I've got b divided by 12 is equal to 2. So because of this division symbol, the only way to get rid of that 12 and get b all by itself, I've got to times by 12 on both sides. Opposite of dividing by 12. b is equal to 2 times 12, which is 24. Okay, a very important concept for this unit is also going to be writing an equation from a word problem. So here's just words. Let's write an equation and solve it. Samantha bought jewelry at a craft fair. She bought some bracelets for $5 each. She spent $30 in all. How many did she buy? So guys, we're looking to write and solve an equation. So we can first take a look at some keywords. $5 each. A lot of times each can be a hint or a keyword for multiplication. So 5 times some amount of bracelets, we'll use b as our variable, is equal to 30. To solve this equation, I've got to do the inverse of timesing by 5, which is dividing by 5. And b equals 6. Samantha bought 6 bracelets. Okay, another example. John was playing basketball. He made 28 points. How many 2-point shots did he make? Well, each of the shots is worth 2 points, so I know 2 times some number, we'll use S for the amount of shots that he made, is equal to 28. And you may be able to do that in your head, guys, but make sure that you realize inverse operations tells us to do divided by 2 on both sides. And S is equal to 14. He made 14 2-point shots. Okay, here's 4 practice problems for you to do. Pause the video now, write them down, and solve them. You need to show your work. I'm only going to be showing the solutions. So when I check these during warm-up time, I'm going to expect to see what you did, your steps. Okay, check your work and see if you got these correct. On the first one, I would add 6 to both sides, and x would be equal to 4. On this one, I would subtract 5 on both sides, and n is equal to -12. On this one, I would divide by 3 on both sides, and a is going to be equal to -5. And on this one, I would multiply both sides by -7, and y is going to be equal to -56.